Joint Tenancy Part 1, Hibah Al Ruqba on Joint Tenancy. This presentation is based on research and books written by Sadali Rasban on the main challenge faced by Muslims in Singapore on a state matter, joint tenancy upon death of a joint tenant. Viewer will have a better understanding of Hibah Al Ruqba in joint tenancy from research done by Sadali Rasban. Objective: this presentation will help the viewer to understand Hibah Al Ruqba. To understand the implication of Hibah Al Ruqba on joint tenancy, this presentation will give viewer a better understanding and be able to appreciate Hibah Al Ruqba in joint tenancy and the harmonization of civil law and Muslim law. Al Ruqba is a gift with specific instruction. If either the donor, giver or donee, receiver dies, the property will go to the surviving party. For example, the donor says, "I give this land to you while you are alive, but if you predecease me, the land must be returned to me, and if I predecease you, the land is for you." Hibah is a contract of gift between the donor and donee. Hibah Al Ruqba is a conditional gift. It has two parts. First, a gift is made. Second, is a condition. The donee receives the gift while he is alive, and the transfer of the property will only happen upon the donor's death. But if the donee predeceases the donor, the property will be transferred back to the donor. The transfer is automatic to the surviving party. The foreign system cannot be applied as the asset was given during lifetime. It is not a net estate. This principle is similar to the civil law on survivorship. Whoever survives in the contract, the survivor will take full ownership of the property in the contract. Al Ruqba, meaning waiting for the other to die, is a contract of gift based on the principle of survivorship. The surviving party, donor or donee of the gift contract, will take the property when one party dies. There are several views among scholars on these matters. The first view rejects the Al Ruqba completely. The second view accepts the Hibah as valid, but the condition as void. The third view accepts that the Hibah and condition are valid. There are two views that accepted the Hibah and one view that rejected the Hibah. Muiz have accepted and recommend the Hibah Al Ruqba on joint tenancy on immovable property, while the Sharia Advisory Council of Security Commission of Malaysia also have accepted Hibah Al Ruqba on joint tenancy on movable asset like unit trust. Majority of scholars opt as mentioned in Mughni wal Al-Shah Majmu Shar Al-Muhaddab Volume 5 Dar Al-Fiqh by Al-Nawawi, page 391 to 397, that Al-Umrah is mubah, allowable. Al Ruqba is also being categorized as Al-Umrah by some scholars. Hibah Al Ruqba is very relevant in today's context. Some of the relevancy are: 1. Protect the donor and donee. Hibah Al Ruqba protect both the donor, giver, and the donee, receiver of the Hibah. Example in joint tenancy: should the husband make the Hibah Al Ruqba on the home to the wife, and the wife predeceases him, he will have back the full ownership of the house. But should the husband predecease the wife, the widow will have the full ownership of the house. 2. No other parties in the contract is denied of his or her right. Since the parties to the contract are the joint tenants, their rights are protected. Other legal heirs who are not part of the contract will not benefit in the contract. 3. In line with the objective of Sharia, Hibah Al Ruqba can achieve the objective of Sharia. This is evident in many normal family structure. When the husband dies, the widow will be left with the shelter of the home, as in Surah Al-Baqarah 240. It is in line with the government policy to ensure that every family have a home, and the transfer of the property to the widow is made hassle-free and at the lowest cost. Islam is a simple religion. 4. It can be in harmony with today's civil law. Hibah Al Ruqba can be easily enforced as it is in harmony with the joint tenancy, a civil law. Conclusion: Muiz's latest fatwa on Hibah Al Ruqba 1. It is a proper means of transferring asset. There are many similarities between Hibah Al Ruqba and joint tenancy. Thus, it makes Muslims easier to understand and accept joint tenancy as an innovative means of wealth transfer today. 2. It contradicts MUI's rejection on the concept of survivorship. The acceptance and recommendation by MUIs to use Hibah Al Ruqba on joint tenancy reflect the inconsistency in the fatwa. The joint tenancy's survivorship principle was rejected, but the Hibah Al Ruqba that works on survivorship principle is accepted. 3. Harmonizing of civil law and Muslim law. Hibah Al Ruqba is able to harmonize the Muslim law and civil law without any changes required on the Sharia part and the civil law. Just redefining fatwa to embrace joint tenancy like what MUIs have done to embrace CPF nomination as Hibah. Summarize of MUI's latest fatwa on joint tenancy. The latest fatwa by MUIS on joint tenancy does not solve the challenge faced by Muslims. It defers the problem to a later date. It also enhances the problems and creates new problems. The fatwa endorses action of responsible legal heirs to demand their quoted right to the deceased shares, ignoring the right of the surviving joint tenant. This will possibly cause more problems and hardship to Muslims in Singapore. The surviving joint tenant who had not complied with the initial fatwa is now at risk of being pressured to comply and distribute a share of the property based on faraid. It also creates extra effort and cost to harmonize joint tenancy to MUI's fatwa. Most joint tenants will not take the effort and pay the cost to achieve the same objective as what the civil law can achieve. The fatwa is not practical. Please tell your friends and relatives about this presentation and proceed to the joint tenancy part 2 presentation.